So, we want to take it back?
We're taking it back already.
You want to take it back?
We're not trying to go all the way back. But we're
going to take it back.
Oh,
Bear with me. Let me see if this works this time. You ready? Let's see. We're going to take it back. So, it started. And we talked about this earlier. You wasn't at this day because you were supposed to go to Wisconsin. We're going to talk about that. But let's talk about how I found out about EOP.
Okay, let's hear it.
At this point in senior year of high school, I'm working in Marcy Projects. I shouldn't have to explain what Marcy Projects is. Jay-Z is one of the most influential people in our time. So when you hear Marcy Projects, you automatically think of Jay-Z. I was working in Marcy Projects in Brooklyn. I was living in Brownsville at this time. I'm working at Family Dollar. My daughter was just born. I'm a senior in high school. And I'm super depressed. I'm cutting school, missing probably 3 days out the week. I literally gave up. I said, this is my life. I have to take care of this kid. I don't have a support system. I'm not living with my parents. I'm living with my mother-in-law. At this time, it's just my girlfriend's mother. But I'm living with my mother-in-law. I'm cutting school to literally work at Family Dollar, and my checks every week was literally just enough to buy MTA and just diapers. Couldn't buy milk. I'm stealing things to take care of my daughter, and I'm just so depressed. I gained around 70 pounds at this time. It's just horrible, man. I had so much potential. A lot of people see me as this kid who was just gonna make it, who was gonna defeat the odds, and I'm just down. I'm down and out. And I had this wonderful college counselor, Mr. Ray. Gotta clap for Mr. Ray. Mr. Ray, you are amazing. Thank you. And Mr. Ray is harassing me. Jonathan, it's okay. It happened. This is not a mistake. Emily is a blessing. Emily is going to be the biggest blessing that you ever received ever in your life. And I'm like, nah, it's over. It's over. My life is over. Jonathan, there are programs out there. There's programs. Come to my office. Nah, I'm not coming. Jonathan, please show up. I can't keep covering your absences. Please, you just got to do this. You have a perfect GPA. Your regions are done. You're going to graduate. You just got to show up. Just come. There's programs. One day, I'm like, all right, you're going to keep harassing me. I go to the office, and she's like, Jonathan, I'm doing the Common App. You remember the Common App?
I hate the Common App.
I'm doing the Common App. Literally, I didn't go to class the whole day. Mr. Ray locked me in her office doing the Common App. And she's like, apply to Stony Brook. And I laugh. I'm like, yo, I'm supposed to be going to Johns Hopkins, Harvard, Yale, all my friends. You tell me to apply to Stony Brook? Are you serious? I want to throw the computer at her. Are you disrespecting me? If it ain't Ivy, I'm done. I ruined everything. It's over. It is what it is. I'm just another statistic. I'm everything I was supposed to be because of my upbringing. It is what it is. She's like, John, these colleges are great. Don't worry about the name of it. You go and do what you got to do. You can be special. And I want you to check the box called EOP. I'm like, what's that? She said, you need it. Where you're at right now, your mental state, you're going to need more support going into these POWs, these colleges, and it's going to be a new world for you. You need it. EOP. So at this point, I'm like, all right, Mr. Ray, being respectful. I'm listening to everything she said. I'm just like, whatever. You think I'm going to be something, I ain't going to be nothing. And I get an invitation. And I get an email from Miss Cheryl Hamilton. And it's basically like, listen, we're having this boys' day. Stony Brook at this time, there was a lot of minority men. The EOP program was dominated by females. And they were trying to convince a lot of minority boys to come to the campus.
I actually never knew that.
Yeah. So I'm like, I don't want to go. My mom calls me. Like I said, my mom had her issues, but when it came to education, she was a tyrant. She said, yo, I got a call from Mr. Ray. I know you're not living here no more, but you better take your ass to that meeting. You need to show up at the library. It was a Saturday. And I go and I meet most of my squad. We're going to get into that. I meet most of my C2 squad.
C2.
So we go, it's Justin there. It's Terrence. And it's all these kids. I know none of them. I don't know their names at this point. And we're at the what's the big library in New York City? Public library.
Javits Center or
No,
Jarvis?
not
or something?
Javits. The library.
Oh, the public library.
On North Street, it's like 30 something. No, that big.
That big library over there.
You see that? As you can see,
with
we
the
still
lions outside.
Yeah,
you
with-
know.
You know what I'm talking about. Boom. So I'm randomly there. It's cold. I'm like, I'm depressed. I'm fighting with Nicolette. So it's funny because Justin always tells me the story. He was like, yo, all he remembers is some dude arguing about his daughter getting milk. And he turns around. He think he is some 6'7" brolic dude. And he's like, the fuck? You got a kid, bro? I remember that's the first thing. Like, yo, you got a kid, bro? And I'm like, yo, bro, who are you, bro? Like, you mind your business, bro. I'm talking to my girl, bro. Mind your business, bro. Like, I'm still ghetto, man. Like, very smart. Like, great grades, but I'm ghetto. I'm from the hood. And we go on this campus, and I meet Jarvis, and I meet Francisco. And my life changed instantly. You know, and I'm like, yo, why am I here? I'm one of those guys, like, trying to, like, make them give up on me. And Francisco looks at me in my face and says, you know,
You ain't shit.
nah, he didn't do the David. He didn't do the David. He didn't tell me to carry the book. He said, when I walked on Stony Brook campus, I had a daughter. And now I have multiple degrees. I'm a counselor. So whatever fucking excuse you think you got about why you can't be successful, save that shit. And guess what? When I went to campus, I was a single dad. You still got the mother of your child. I didn't have that. And instantly I was like, whoa. And then you meet Jarvis, Dr. Watson, sharp, black dude from the hood.
You know, I was about to say, one of my favorite things with Jarvis is he always said about coming on time. What does that mean, bro? Coming on time.
Yo, well, let's do it.
Let's hear it.
If you are early, you're on time. If you are on time, you are late.
It's one of my favorite things.
If
to
you
hear.
are late, you are to be forgotten, young man. And it was like, you know, you felt the pressure, you felt the sternness, but you didn't feel like beaten down. You didn't feel overwhelmed. You didn't feel like you was being judged. You just felt like, yo, I gotta make these people proud. Like, they're here on a Saturday in the freezing cold to pick some young black dudes up that the world has counted out.
He was like that from day one, bro.
From day one, bro. And you just talking to these men who come from where you come from, and then I have Francisco who had the same experience that I had. And then I go on this campus and it's beautiful. And we play ball, and I'm meeting all these dudes. I meet Mike, I meet Jeremy, you know.
This is the summertime, right?
This is this is in the middle of the school year.
Ah.
This is senior year of high school.
Okay.
At this point, everybody on that trip was already accepted in Stony Brook. We didn't know.
Yeah.
They told us at the end of the tour that all of you have been accepted. That's why we picked you guys up. That's why we invited you on this tour. The choice is yours. Go to the cafeteria. And then, you know, I'm talking to Francisco. He says, you know, I'm like, man, I can't leave my daughter. And he says one of the most powerful things to me. He said, your daughter won't remember nothing from 1 to 4. But when she's 7 and you're still working at that Family Dollar and you can't give her the resources, that's going to eat her alive. When all these young men who listened to me and took this opportunity is at Disney World with their kids, and your daughter is 12 and you wanted to be there for her for 1 through 4, she's going to look at you in disgust. But if you go now at 5, she's not going to remember that her dad sacrificed those 4 years so she could have a life that you never had. And it stuck with me, you know? It stuck with me. It was there, and I ended up getting into some my dream schools. But I was like, I can't go. I have to go to Stony Brook. It's bigger than what the education is about. I have a support system. I have people that understand me. I have people that believe in me. I have people that's going to take the time to build the character I need to be successful in this world. And it was one of the most important and biggest decisions I ever made in my life.
At that time, how much of your, like, were you believing in yourself at that point? Not at all?
No, but my freshman year to junior year, I was on a debate team. I almost won the Harvard tournament. I debated at Yale. I debated at Columbia. I took multiple APs, man. It was just gifted, you know? School was just easy, man. It just came natural to me. I had wonderful teachers. And I remember going to Mr. Murphy specifically, my AP European history teacher. And when I told him I was having a kid, man, like, you could tell he was trying so hard not to judge me, but I felt it. I felt it in the room. It was just like, how, bro? Out of all the kids, like you was the golden child. Like, if you, like you were Ivy League, you were gonna be the lawyer. You was gonna be a judge. Like, how? Like, how did you do that out of all the kids? You? And I quit. I gave up on myself. But again, it's a part of the journey. Everybody believed in me. There was people who just wouldn't give up on me, like Miss Ture.
That's great, man.
And eventually I accepted that offer to go to Stony Brook. And I remember my first day. So part of being in the EOP program is what we had to do, Gabe.
Yeah, that's when I came along, because I was like, damn,
that
happened. I wasn't even there.
You weren't at the men's meeting because you were on the fence about going to Stony Brook. You were supposed to go to Wisconsin.
Yeah.
But you came in late to the situation. But you were there day one of the summer, because so part of being an EOP student is we had to go through a boot camp.
Basically, exactly what
you're
saying.
It's boot camp.
It's
it was
a boot
like,
camp.
And for a while, like when I accepted the offer, I was really mad about this boot camp. We get one phone call. We had to line up like we was in jail. We had no laptop, no cell phone. We started our day at like 7 a.m. We ended our day at 8 p.m. We had to be in bed by 9. They still wanted us to study. like how? And they trained these young minority kids to be ready for campus when everybody came to campus. And I remember the first day, and I call it the proposal. My mom, Nicolette, my daughter, we're all there. Everybody's staring at me. I remember even Gabe staring at me. He probably don't remember. Because I'm the only one with a big head ass daughter holding her. And everybody's looking like, bro, got a kid, bro? Like, yo, that's your kid, bro? And I'm like, yeah, man, that's my kid. They're like, oh, okay. Like, you going to college? Like, you got a kid? Usually the people with kids stay back home in the hood. And I'm like, yeah, nah, I'm going to do the college thing, man. And I remember my mom talking to Pam, who was my head counselor. Shout out. Oh, come on, man.
Gotta give Pam her flowers.
Shout out to Pam, man.
Definitely.
Shout out to Pam, man. One of the amazing counselors. I would not be where I'm at without you. You were patient. I would not be at NYU without you. I would not have my career without you. You guided me in the right direction every step of the way. And I remember my mom crying and saying, my son is special. I apologize. This is all me. Like, I should have been a better mom. My mom is breaking down crying in the corner, and I'm so embarrassed, bro. I'm like, yo, what the fuck, bro? Like, I haven't been on this campus for 1 minute. She's embarrassing me. And she's like, he has to be there for his kid. He can't. I know he needs a future, but he has to figure this out. He needs to be a father, but he also needs this opportunity. And I remember Miss Cheryl and Pam grabbing me, and they looked me in the face and said, we hear your mom. Jonathan, we're going to give you this opportunity. We want to bring your family, your whole entire family, your girlfriend and your daughter to campus. We're going to give you an apartment. We'll pay the first 7 months of the rent. You have to do one thing for us that's never been done. I said, what is it? You have to get a perfect 4.0 and you have to be number 1 in every class. They said, number 1, you can get a 4.0, but you have to be number 1 in every class. There's 100 kids here who are brilliant, who's excited for this opportunity. They all want this full ride.
From around the world, by the way. These kids are coming from
You have to be better than everybody. Not in one class, in every subject. And we'll do that for you. Do you agree to that? And Miss Cheryl looked me in my eye and said, do you agree? She said, you're number, I was like number 400 on the wait list for the apartment. She said, I will make you from 400 to 1 if you do this. And I said, I promise you, I'm going to outbeat all of these motherfuckers if I can get my daughter and my girlfriend here on campus and I could be a father and a student. She said, we'll see. And my mom grabbed me before she got back in the car. She said, you better be number 1, you motherfucker.